Hola guys and girls and welcome for the GBA team builder for the playoffs round 2. We are up against Leo, aka SixFtHax, coach of the Durham Druddigons. So, of course it's gonna be a reunion tour of basically our conference barring Kyle. Since we faced MV round 1, he was in our conference, now we in our division even, and now we face Leo, who's in our division as well. But if we win, we are guaranteed to face someone who's not in our division, so that's at least something. But yeah, since he is in our division, that of course means this is a rematch, built already in the season, where he won, and I brought a very funky team which bet everything on a zoom roll. And usually I would say, like, since it's a rematch, I always say, like, if you lost before, you have the advantage in the next game. So theoretically, I should have the advantage here. The problem is, of course, that the week I faced Leo, I think was the second to last week, if not the last week, before I made my big trades. So I still had the Deoxys, I still had my Conkeldurr and all this good stuff. So yeah, so he's facing a new team. So he has to come up with new stuff either way. So it's not like I can look at sets he brought and think, okay, probably bring something similar again, because now my team is very different. So yeah, so basically the advantage for that is gone, so we can't really hope on that. But of course his team on the other hand didn't change, so I at least can look at what I brought was effective and what wasn't effective, so at least I got that. But yeah, I think that advantage is kind of skewed a little bit sadly, but let's get over his team real quick. He got the Marshadow, the Garchomp, the Ferrothorn, the Thundurus, the Snorlax, the Cresselia, the Comfey, Alomomola, Nidoking, Darkrai, and Mega Medicham, the Thundurus and the Garchomp being his Z-move users. And yeah, Leo made it as the #1 seed in our conference and division. So I actually don't know if was he the best player overall in the record-wise. I actually don't know. That might have been going to someone else. But he was doing pretty well, and you know from his team. He has a very offensively threatening team with like a few very tanky mons. Like he has like 3 mons, like Snorlax, Cresselia, Alomomola, which make out like his whole and Ferrothorn. Okay, 4 very, very, very defensive mons. So, and the rest is just super offensive. So it's not real bulky offense. There's like super offense, and then you got the super defensive stuff, and which is very scary to face because you don't know really which direction he wants to go. Last time I think he brought a more offensive set than I anticipated. So I think he will at least do in that regard something similar, because of course if you look at my team is known for being very offensive as well. So we both have, I think that's why the matchup is kind of even. I don't want to say he has a better matchup versus me. He has like, his threats are huge threats. I don't have check to those. I don't have good checks to Marshadow. I don't have good checks to the Garchomp, the Thundurus, the Darkrai especially. Mega Medicham, I do have the Kofak, which is a very good check, but sadly for that very predictable. But yeah, and don't forget Nidoking. Like, if you Sheer Force Nidoking is the least of your worries, you already know what you're dealing with. But yeah, this team is offensively basically not handleable by my team. But on the other hand, I think that the same goes for him as well. It's like the offense I have, of course, with Azumarill, Cure Black, the Mega Lucario, and all this good stuff. I think he will have troubles as well. So in that regard, we're even. So it kind of gets to the point who can use his offense more effectively. On the other hand, who can build his defense more efficiently. Efficient is the most important part here, because you're never gonna check all of the offense. It depends on bringing the right mons to check the right mons, and then hope he's bringing that. And yeah, the few defensive mons, if you bring any, they have to be efficient. They have to be able to do their job, because if they're prepared for something else and prepared wrongly, then you just wasted the slot you could have used for something else, and that might be a match decider in this one. So yeah, that's just my analysis, just looking at team matchup. Like I said, don't think anyone has the upper hand. I just think it's gonna be, yeah, offensively, offense and efficiency are the 2 remaining points which are gonna decide this match. Oh yeah, now let's go over the team. Like I said, who are the biggest threats? What is defensively annoying? I already talked over that in the last team builder, so I don't want to focus on that too much. Let's just go on to our team. So first up, we start with our Kofak, Fizzy Defensive, Shadow Ball, Knockoff, Will-O-Wisp, and Toxic Spike. Just 12 in speed, so I'm faster than maybe a Snorlax, speed creep, no speed Kofak. Either way, this time we're not doing the Azumarill thing again. We do bring Azumarill still as well, so I think Leo will watch out for that. Last time we had like a very Belly Drum. Azumarill is still a huge threat to his team, because obviously his team didn't change. So, and like with screens and memento and spikes and all sorts of stuff, I could still pull it off. I do have the core of my Kofak and my Azumarill, and I do have a lead Aerodactyl as well. So last time I had a lead Deoxys, so he might be scared of something similar. But either way, we have Kofak here. This time without the memento and without the Ghost Berry. Now we have the Aya Papa Berry. This is once again still my check to the Medicham. And through his high defensive, it actually can switch into Marshallow's ghost attacks as well. But this time I do have the Papa Berry. Once he sees no item, he might think, okay, yeah, he's the Ghost Berry again, which would make sense. But if the Papa Berry, I can just get some crucial recovery on this Mon to be a switch him one more time to the, the Medicham, or like take a hit again from the Marshadow, even though it's of course super effective stab. And of course it's gonna be his main switch into other physical threats like the Garchomp as well. And the Garchomp could do a lot of damage, and then with the Papa Berry, get my health, and then I'm still out of range, like for Medicham for example. Then coverage-wise, it's just Shadow Ball, it's like hits his team very well. He has of course the Snorlax, which is very annoying, but for that we can burn that. That same goes for Garchomp, same goes for everything basically. Every physical threat we can burn him, and then they're not as big a problem. For start we don't have to worry about, because obviously we're immune to that. Then Knockoff is mainly there for utility. Last time he brought a very surprising set, which was the Cresselia with a berry, with like 50% berry. And getting rid of that would be awesome, because that would be some crucial recovery on this Cresselia gone. Of course, it's nice utility for basically everything on this team. Always getting rid of leftovers, a berry, Rocky Helmet, I don't know, Choice Scarf, Choice Band, something like that. It's always nice. And then Bulldoze, like I said, to burn. And Toxic Spikes, because once again, they are nice versus team. If he doesn't bring Nuking, they're going to be super effective. If this brings Nidoking, of course, I have to be careful when to set them up. Last time he brought Nidoking because it was a very special, a very good check to my Mega Metric, which I don't have anymore, so there's a chance it doesn't bring Nidoking. So that's why I still have Toxic Spikes on the set, but they might not even get up depending on how the game goes and what team he brings. So yeah, that's that. Other thing, I think, like one thing I want to know is, by the way, as well, since, oh wait, no, he did that before, so it doesn't even matter. I want to say he actually he made a team builder last time, but he hit a lot of his sets. Like he didn't talk about anything which wasn't shown, so which makes me think that he will bring similar stuff. But obviously I made my trades afterwards, so I don't really know. Like he might bring still similar sets, but they are very likely to change because of my trades. So yeah, I don't really know how much I can bet on that. That since that is a sign that he hit his sets, he didn't want to show them that he plans to bring similar stuff. Anyway, next up, of course, Mega Lucario. This time we have Close Combat, Medium Edge, Bull Punch, and Substitutes. Max Speed just to outspeed the Thunderous, and Substitutes there because this time I don't want to use Mega Lucario as a sweeper. That's what I did the last few games, and mainly the Deox as well. This time I want to use Mega Lucario as a wall breaker. I want to bring it in early game, mid game, just to do a lot of damage versus things and do, yeah, that's basically the plan. That's the idea of a wall breaker. Do a lot of damage to finish in the mid-early game so the sweepers can clean up. So yeah, that's what I want to use Lucario this time for. And that's why I have Substitute as well. The next time I bring it was Ferrophone. I don't really have to predict. Do I go for Close Combat on a switch into Marshadow? Do I go for the Meteor Mash, predicting that, but then I don't hit the Ferrophone as well. So I do have the Substitute, which I can just click, which prevents me of one station for Thunder Waves, Toxics, Scald from Elemomola actually only very unlikely breaks my sub. That's pretty funny. And yeah, press Release Seed, Thunder Wave. If the Ferrophone only has Power Whip and Gyro Ball, he might not be able to break my sub as well. Gyro Ball actually I think breaks my sub. Actually, I don't know the calc on top of my head. I built this team actually 2 weeks ago because I thought, actually earlier than that, because I actually thought first I would face Leo in the first round, since he was the, this is how the seeding worked, but actually ended up adding Envy, so yeah. And what do I want to talk about? Yeah, Mega Lucario, like I said, Wall Breaker, pretty straightforward. I have stabs with adaptability, do a lot of damage, double punch for a little bit of recovery, priority of course. So it's faster mons like the Darkrai, for example, like in Bullet Punch and all this good stuff. And yeah, that's Mega Lucario for you. Next up we got Azumarill, this time with an Assault S variant, still Max Attack Adamant though, with Play Rough, Knockoff, Superpower, and the Aqua Jet. Assault S is there just so I have at least one switch into the Darkrai potentially, or Mon which can take a hit. Always pretty well. The Special Bulk and the HP is there so I am not too hit KO'd by Thunderbolt / Slush Bomb from Darkrai, which no boosting item. If it has a boosting item, it can't do it KO me. That's always the problem. Like, if I try to be like bulky enough for boosting item, then I have a lot of bulk and miss out on attack. And like I said, Azumarill offensively is still very good versus this team. He doesn't have a lot of things which want to take an Aqua Jet from this thing. He has like the Elemomola, but that thing doesn't like to play rough. And Elemomola, I'm not sure if he's going to bring that. Last time he brought that, but there's so many mons on my teams that can potentially use the Elemomola just as self-fodder. Like the Azumarill, for example. Like the Kyurem, for example. Like the Jirachi, for example. There's a lot of mons which can just outright, yeah, abuse him having such a defensive and offensively not very strong one in Elemomola. So I'm not sure if you're going to bring that. And on that, Knockoff, like I said, strong utility, strong damage was a lot of things. And then Superpower is there since that, of course, Ferrophone, very great check. Last time I didn't have the superpower, I had knockoff is enough, but this time I actually need to get rid of the Ferrothorn. That's the plan of this team, kind of. I want to get rid of Ferrothorn early to open up the door for my Kyurem later on. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about it later. Like I said, Azumarill, mainly there the Assault is mainly there, so at least a decent switch in, like something which can take special hits, and that offensively is just very strong versus this team. Now we have our lead Aerodactyl, and look at the set. We have Focus Sash, Unnerve, Stone Edge, Ice Fang, Fire Blast, and Stealth Rock. Enough speed to outspeed as fast as moment you can outspeed, which is the Darkrai and the Marshadow. And this spread, we have Stone Edge, Ice Fang, Fire Blast. So Fire Blast with this special attack investment is there, so I can 2-hit KO Ferrothorn. If he leads a Ferrothorn, I can 2-hit KO that, do a lot of damage to that thing, which is nice. Ice Fang is of course there to do damage to stuff which resists Stone Edge, as in Garchomp and Nidoking. And then Marshadow sadly don't hit, but I don't really expect him to switch in Marshadow since I could have the flying move. And then Stone Edge basically just to everything else. Basically the plan is, I first thought, okay, I could be fully offensive with Fire Fang, which, depending on the spread, or on standard Ferrothorn actually does more than the Fire Blast. Problem is, he has Iron Barb, so if I go for Fire Fang, I get Iron Barb's damage, he goes for Gyro Ball, I'm dead, and my Sash is broken. So that's why I decided to run Fire Blast instead with a lot of special attack investment, because then I don't get Iron Barbed. He can go for Gyro Ball or something like that, break my Sash, but then I get a second Fire Blast off and I can either kill him, or if he's very specially bulky, he can take, of course, the hits, but then he's in range of anything else. And that's the plan with Aerodactyl. I might not even go for rocks, depending on things. I might just try to get rid of the Ferrothorn, at least get very much damage on the Ferrothorn, because my plan of winning this game is right here, which is our Jeff. Choice Scarf Jeff with Dragon Claw, Shadow Claw, Outrage, and Ice Beam. If the Ferrothorn is gone, and he doesn't bring Comfy, which I don't really expect him to bring. Last time he didn't bring it, I still have all my checks to that. Like, I still have the Mega Lucario with Bullet Punch, or Steel moves in general. I still have my Jirachi, which is a great check for that. So, once the Ferrothorn is dead and the Comfy is not there, I don't expect it to come. Let's say it right here. If he brings that, of course I have to play around that, but I'm not really expecting it. He has no switch-ins to the Dragon moves of Pure Black if I'm fully offensive. He doesn't like Dragon Claws, he doesn't like Outrage especially, and then we have just Shadow Claw there as kind of filler move, because it does, in case I don't lock myself into Outrage, it does more damage to stuff like the Cresselia and the Marshadow and stuff like that. And they have Ice Beam there, just so I can potentially kill like Garchomp and other stuff, and the Thundurus, and just general stab. Like, most of the time I'm gonna click the Dragon moves, because then that's what I'm gonna do. I want to use this thing not at a wall breaker, this time it is my sweeper. I want to weaken everything, scout out what his Scarfer is. Of course I have enough speed right here, so I can speed everything up to a Scarf, Nidoking, and of course every other moment which is not Scarf. So only like Scarf, let's look at the team, kick Scarf Comfy, Scarf Thundurus, Scarf Garchomp, Scarf Marshadow. These are the ones I have to look out for. I don't think it, like, the most likely thing of those would maybe be Scarf Garchomp. I don't think he wants to Scarf Marshadow, because him being locked into a fighting move is pretty bad. He wants to switch up moves so that it's fast enough. Same with Darkrai. I don't think he wants to be locked into Dark Pulse or something else, because then I have good switches to that. Garchomp could make sense, because, I mean, Garchomp, he doesn't really want to be locked into ground or Dragon moves, I guess. Scarf Thundurus could make sense. I think Scarf Thundurus would probably make the most sense out of those, but Scarf Thundurus really doesn't do too much damage. Of course he has, Focus Blast kills me on minus F, so what I'm talking about. But either way, plan is identify Scarfers, get rid of them, get rid of the Ferrothorn with stuff like my Azumarill Superpower, because that, of course, that baits the Ferrothorn in. That's pretty simple, and then I can Superpower predicting that, do a lot of damage. Old Burp, if he leads Ferrothorn, I can just Fire Blast it and stuff like that, which I don't think he might expect. And yeah, this thing, like is my idea of winning. So one other thing, of course, I have to weaken to that to work is other very bulky mon, which takes the hits pretty well. And he brought last time as well, which is the Cresselia. And for this, I have this thing designed. This is super Hyper Train, so it's 151, so it's the same as this. So outspeed, max speed, Nidoking. And this is my Celium Z Doom Desire Jirachi. It's Calm Mind Jirachi with Doom Desire, Psy Shock, Hidden Power Fire, and Calm Mind. This thing is there to bait in the Ferrothorn, of course, and hit kill with Hidden Power Fire at +1. Or no, I don't kill it, I do a lot of damage. And if I get some Fire Blast with Old Burp, I already kill it. And, of course, bait in the Cresselia. Cresselia, of course, takes hits pretty well as well, but if I'm at +1, a Doom Desire, if you don't know, Doom Desire is basically the same as Future Sight, signature move of Jirachi, 140 base power, and hits after 2 turns. But if I use, of course, it as a Z move, it hits exactly at that turn, and it is treated as a 140 base power move. So this is a huge Steelium Z move from this Doom Desire, and that's what I plan to do. I get 2 Calm Minds up versus the Cresselia. He thinks he walls me since he can just Calm Mind, not Calm Mind, of course, Moonlight and all this good stuff. I go for my Steelium Z Doom Desire, the, what's it called in English again? I just use it in a German match, but I forgot what it's a spinny thing. I actually forgot what it is, what the English name for the Z move is. But yeah, I do love damage. He might first think, okay, yes, the Flash Cannon or something like that, but no, we are running the Do Desire. And then, of course, like I said, Hidden Power Fire there to deal with the Ferrophone mainly, and then Psyshock just as our stab options to hit other stuff, because I don't really want to go for Doom Desires if I'm not clinging for Z moves, barring as before I die, last ditch, high damage output move. But yeah, that's strategy for you. Like I said, mainly that too. Like I have this as a lure kind of for both of them. I have this kind of a lure for the Ferrophone, and this kind of a lure as well. And then this guy, Laking Sweeping. This guy potentially as well, but like I said, this is more of a wall breaker, and then I have my 2 more defensive mons, or the kind of defensive mons with the Truth and Azumarill. But yeah, that is the plan going into this match. Of course, let me know in the comments what you think of it, which one will perform, which will not perform, how will the match go, what are you hoping for. This is my GBA team match. If we get out, we are out, but if you win, we are in the finals, and we are facing Randy or Jolt right there. So I'm excited for that, but yeah, that's all for me. I will see you tomorrow for the match. I hope you're excited. See you there. Ciao.